Hey everyone, welcome into the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star, the Flippin' Hippo, and as you can tell by today's title, we're going to talk about can a reselling business survive recession? Before we jump into that, I did want to address the difference between a recession and a depression, because I think a lot of folks get the two mixed up or intertwined. So I have a page up here that I'm actually going to screen share with you in a minute, and I'll also put the link down below so you can go look at it yourself if you want to read it. A recession is a widespread economic decline that lasts for several months. A depression is a more severe downturn that lasts for years. Now, according to this article, there have been 33 recessions since 1854, and they last on average 11 months. But there's only been one depression ever, the Great Depression, and it lasted a decade. So a recession is an economic decline that does not last for that long, or like a year. And a depression is going to be a more severe downturn that lasts for a lot of years. So being with the history of the way things are, and there was only ever one depression, the Great Depression, I'm not like an economic specialist. I don't have any college in economics, and I'm not like, trying to preach my knowledge on the news. But as far as I'm concerned, and what I have researched, what I've read, the things I've been paying attention to, I don't really think we're on our way to a depression. According to this article, which I'm going to share with you, we are already in a recession for 2020, and they blame it on COVID. So that, it's definitely a possibility that that's going to last for a while, and we're going to have one in 2021. So what I want to do is share the article with you, go through it, some of the highlights, and then we'll come back here and we're going to talk about reasons why the economy sucks right now, basically. And then, what can we do as resellers, and what does it mean for our future? So let's share the screen real quick so I can show you what I'm looking at here. I'm looking at this article on the balance called Recession versus Depression, how to tell the difference. So you can see right here verbatim what I just told you guys. And about the depression lasting a decade. So recession, gross domestic product contracts for at least 2 quarters will slow for several quarters before it turns negative. But there also has to be a drop in 4 other critical economic indicators: income, employment, manufacturing, and retail sales. Since these reports come out monthly, they usually signal a recession long before. A depression is longer and more destructive than a recession. It has years, not quarters, of economic contraction. In the Great Depression, the gross domestic product was negative for 6 out of the 10 years, and unemployment reached 25%. The devastation of a depression is so great that the effects of the Great Depression lasted for decades after it ended. The stock market didn't recover until 1954. Think about that. So where are we at in the current business cycle? Well, the best way to find out if we are in a recession or depression is to understand where we are in the business cycle. A recession will typically follow the peak of the business cycle. In early 2020, the U.S. economy entered the contraction phase of the business cycle. The 2020 recession, again, I said this article claims that we're in one right now for 2020. The 2020 recession was caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The government closed non-essential businesses and urged people to stay at home to stop the spread of the virus, but that caused the economy to contract 5% in the first quarter of 2020. And by April, there were 23.1 million people unemployed, sending the unemployment rate to 14.7%. Remember, it was 25% during the Great Depression, so it's about 10% off. They have the cause of the Great Depression here, which you guys can come read about if you want, or look it up, research it. The Great Depression is a pretty interesting history topic. I've loved to research about it myself and read about it. This next little part is the 12 causes of the recession. So of a recession, not the. Almost all of them involve a loss of business or consumer confidence. It's basically a panic reaction, which is a shock, like a stock market crash, wage price controls, collapse of an asset bubble. It can be anticipated in reaction to government action. How a stock market crash causes a recession. You guys can read this on your own time. So, is the United States headed towards the second Great Depression? I already told you my opinion on it, even though I'm not an economic specialist. But if the U.S. were to experience an economic downturn on the scale of the Great Depression, your life would change dramatically, according to this article. 1 out of 4 people would lose their jobs. The stock market would drop by 50% and take decades, not months, to recover. The COVID pandemic, while causing a recession, probably won't cause a depression. Central banks around the world know how to prevent depressions. They make sure banks have enough capital. They lowered the interest rates to 0. And unlike the early years of the Depression, Congress has used expansionary fiscal policy to cushion the recession. And then it has like this little fun ending part about how there were many bank failures in the Depression. And is it safe to keep your money under a mattress? And it says you don't have to do that. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation insures 100% of your savings, checking, and money market deposits. So according to this little article, which is just a nice, quick, informative read that's not too far into the verbatim of the economic world, or, a lot of these articles, I think, are kind of hard to understand and delve into sometimes. I feel like this one is just really a nice, quick, easy read. It definitely lays out the differences between a recession and a depression very clearly, and kind of gives you an idea of what 2020 recession is like and where it's headed. You guys, I've said it before and I've said it again, and I will probably continue to say it for years, for the rest of my life. 2020 is the year of the poop. It has been the year of the poop. It will be the year of the poop. It will go down in history as the year of the poop. 2020 has sucked for a lot of reasons, for a lot of people. First and foremost, of course, the virus, anyone that was affected by that. The economic fallout has affected a lot of folks. But aside from the economy and COVID, you guys know we've had wildfires, we've had floods, we've had hurricanes. It just hasn't been a great year. And typically what happens in a year where there's a ton of natural disasters, the economy is affected. I think I said this on the channel before, but I feel like a whole entire decade worth of events was shoved into 1 year on accident. Like, all the stuff that happened in 2020 was supposed to happen over the next 10 years, and someone made a mistake somewhere and put it all in 1 year. I mean, joking aside, it has been a very bad year, though. So the economy has definitely taken an effect. We are definitely in a recession due to COVID and the links we had to go to protect folks, and what the shutdown meant for small business owners and the economics and all that. So, can online selling survive? Do you think online selling is going to survive in 2021? That is like something that's on a lot of people's minds. So I've made 2 lists here. They're not long lists, just real quick bullet points I want to talk about. Reasons reselling may not survive, and reasons why it probably will, which are more likely. Some of the reasons why reselling may not survive going into 2021, or through the end of 2021 into 2022, the shipping fiasco that has been going on the last couple of months has affected online buying, as well as the businesses of resellers and other online retail businesses. Because the shipping is getting lost and taking months and weeks and just disappearing sometimes, a lot of buyers don't have that confidence to shop online anymore. So they're not. You know, if you buy something in November in anticipation for Christmas and you don't get it till after Christmas, that can make you give you pause not to want to shop online. And I know that I've seen in a lot of places where a lot of buyers have just lost that confidence and they don't want to shop online anymore. And then a lot of small sellers were really super affected. It affected a lot of people in a lot of negative ways. A lot of people stopped reselling and just walked away from it. Some people put it on hold, but overall, if you have less folks selling stuff and less folks buying stuff, that doesn't bode well for reselling in the future. There's continues to be a loss of jobs as we move into 2021. A lot of states are experiencing new shutdowns. So in addition to the shutdowns we had at the beginning of the year, we are now having additional shutdowns, non-essential businesses being closed, indoor dining being closed. I mean, depending on your state, really, and your governor is what's going on as far as shutdowns where you live. But there are shutdowns happening again that are affecting people's jobs. People continue to lose their jobs. If there are less jobs, two things happen. One, folks have less money to spend. And two, there might be an influx of sellers as folks who lost their jobs and are stuck at home due to the shutdown might be selling some of their items online or emptying out their closets or their garages or getting rid of their collectibles or getting rid of, a collection of something they have. We might just see an influx of sellers as people are putting stuff up for sale online in a desperation for money to make ends meet while they're unemployed. People are not looking for luxury items or expensive items right now. So those are some of the main reasons why it won't survive. But I think it will, because the reasons that it may survive, I think, are more likely to have a long-term effect. Yes, folks don't have a lot of money. Yes, folks are losing their jobs. There's shutdowns. The shipping fiasco happened. But within a couple of months, I think the reasons that 2021 will be good for reselling will outweigh all of these things, such as there's going to be less sellers. So there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to walk away from reselling, and that's unfortunate, but it is going to happen. People who just didn't have the capital or the big enough business to absorb all of the fallout from the shipping fiasco, folks who were just trying it out as a means to an end. Like I said, people who are unemployed and sitting at home may have started reselling just to make ends meet. Those small sellers, hobby sellers, people who couldn't absorb the shipping, people who are going to be going back to work, we're just going to lose a whole bunch of online sellers, I feel like, at least in the first quarter and maybe even 2 quarters of 2021. That means less competition. That means those of us that do this full time as a living, as a business, are going to see less competition and we're going to be more successful. We're going to have people continuing to be more reluctant to shop at brick and mortar stores until the vaccine is widespread, until folks are comfortable going out there again. More people are still going to sit at home on their couch where they're comfortable and feel safe and shop on their laptops and their phones. It's just the way it is. People don't want to be out in crowds right now. And until all the shutdowns end, until all of the limits on how many folks can be in stores end, I think that's going to cause more people to shop online as well. If a store's capacity is only 25%, you don't want to have to wait outside in line. You'd probably rather be on your couch in the comfort of your own home shopping. More folks are going to be online looking for bargains and used items because less people can afford retail prices and newer tag prices at brick and mortar. People are going to continue to be bored at home, and unfortunately, no matter how bad the economy is, or even if a lot of people are laid off and out of work, when people are bored at home, they shop. Most people are irresponsible with their money. I know I've said that on this channel before, and I'm not going to apologize for it because I don't even think it's an opinion. I think it's a fact. I think that most people are irresponsible with their money, and they'll continue to spend it however they want, especially when they're bored at home. They're going to shop. If we get another stimulus, people will probably spend that online as well. And, you know, even if everyone gets the virus and everyone gets comfortable and starts going out again, a lot of people got really comfortable shopping at home. A lot of people got used to having it delivered right to their front door. Are they going to want to venture back out there into the traffic and the way things used to be, waiting in line, dealing with people? Or have we all gotten used to that comfortability of just sitting on our couch and shopping? So what can we do as resellers to protect ourselves, protect our small businesses, and continue to have this as a viable source of full-time income moving into 2021 and for the whole year? I would continue suggesting all of the best practices I've always taught you guys. List every day, get new inventory, get rid of the poop out of your store, run sales, run clearances, study whether you're purchasing guides or doing your own research on the back end, see what you should be sourcing, see what's selling. And you have to stay on top of that, because as the economy changes, as the amount of people in the workforce are changing, what's selling might change. So you got to keep, it's not just about brands and fashion. What are people shopping for right now from home? That's what you want to have in your store. But continue to do that. List every day. Keep your stores active. Share your Posh Closets. Run your sales. Do your best offers. Offer free shipping. All of those best business practices. And your store should be fine. I think used clothing sellers are going to be 1,000% okay. Because as folks are looking for those bargains and those used items, clothing is going to be one of them. I think that luxury clothing for most people is one of the first things to go out the window when they have less money. People are less willing to give up their entertainment. They have to eat. They have to pay their bills. But you can stop buying $250 Miss Me jeans at the mall and start buying them online for $50 and saving some money. Or you could even start shopping for mall brands online and save some money. I just think that the amount of money people spend on clothes is probably one of the very first luxuries to go, one of the amenities that we like to give up in order to keep other parts of our life moving smoothly, if that makes sense. So if you sell used clothing, I think you're going to be okay, even if you sell luxury and Bolo brands, because not everyone's going to be looking for used bread and butter brands. Most people probably will. The majority of Americans, it's probably where their budget is at. But folks who used to be able to spend the $250 at the mall might now be able to spend $50 online. I would say stock up on entertainment items, absolutely. If people are going to continue to be stuck at home with very little money or unemployed or looking at pay cuts, they're going to need a way to entertain themselves. So, you know, other than all of the streaming devices like Hulu and Netflix, they're going to be looking for ways to entertain themselves. They can't go out to concerts anymore. They can't gather in large groups. They can't go to parties. They can't go to clubs. They can't go to movies. All of those things that we used to do socially, going out to restaurants, people can't do that anymore. So they're looking for ways to entertain themselves. So if you've got handheld games, DVDs, books, board games, puzzles, just all of those ways that people can entertain themselves at home. And if you can think of more, put them down in the comments. By all means, let's all help each other out in this community. But anything like that that you think is going to be an affordable way to entertain themselves while things still aren't open out there, those are things I would stock our store with. And just make sure you have affordable, good items. Things that people can afford. You want to have things that people need. You don't want to necessarily have those huge Bolo and luxury brands or wants luxury items that people don't need to get by. You want to be focusing more on needs and the wants that people won't give up, like entertainment. If people can't go out in the world and do things anymore, they got to have a way to be entertained at home. So that's what I can advise us all to do, is just kind of rethink of what we're sourcing, what we're stocking in our stores to fit the times. People have less money. They need affordable items. They need used clothing. They need ways to entertain themselves. And as long as you keep up all of the best practices that I've been teaching you for the last, I don't know, 3-4 years, however long this channel's been around, we should all be okay. And if, you are one of those resellers that's trying to make this a viable full-time income or build it into a business, I absolutely still think it's viable. I think that reselling, online selling is going to be the future, more so than brick and mortar. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, guys. It always helps the channel. If you haven't already and you'd like to, please subscribe. Help us feed a hungry hippo. And don't forget to join our Facebook group. It's called Flippin Hippos Reseller Pod. You can look for it on Facebook or use the link down below to easily subscribe or ask to join. And until next time, go be productive, go make some money. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Y'all are the best. Bye.